What if the problem isn't how hard you work, but how little your money works for you? Every day, millions of people wake up early, grind through long hours, and go to bed exhausted, yet their financial situation barely changes. Why? Because they've been taught to trade time for money, but never taught how to make money multiply itself. Jim Rohn once said, "Don't just work for money, make money work for you." That single idea can change your entire life. Imagine earning income while you sleep, while you travel, even while you spend time with your family. That's not a fantasy, it's a shift in mindset and strategy. In this video, you'll discover the principles that separate those who stay stuck from those who build lasting wealth. These are not complicated theories, they're simple, powerful habits anyone can start today. But here's the catch, most people won't apply them. Will you be different? Stay with me until the end, because one of these lessons could completely transform your financial future. Lesson 1. Shift from earned income to leveraged income. The fundamental trap of the modern workforce is the linear relationship between time and money. For the majority of the population, income is a direct result of earned effort, a 1:1 ratio where if you stop moving, the money stops flowing. This model is inherently limited because time is the only truly finite resource we possess. No matter how high your hourly rate or how prestigious your title, you are capped by the 24 hours available in a day. To break free from the constraints of the middle class, one must undergo a radical cognitive shift, moving away from trading hours for dollars and toward the cultivation of leveraged income. Leveraging is the art of using systems, people, or capital to multiply your output without a corresponding increase in your personal labor. It is the difference between being the engine and being the architect who designs the machine. Leveraged income often manifests as passive income, though the term can be slightly misleading. In the initial stages, creating a leverage stream requires an intense front-loading of effort. Whether you are writing a book, developing a software application, or building a business franchise, the work you do today must be structured so that it pays you for years to come. This is the hallmark of the wealthy. They work hard to create assets that eventually work hard for them. When you shift your focus to leverage, you start looking at every hour spent, not just as a way to get a paycheck, but as an opportunity to build a permanent pipeline. If you spend 40 hours a week only earning a wage, you are essentially starting from zero every Monday morning. However, if you spend a portion of that time building a system, you are layering your wealth-building blocks on top of one another. Consider the scalability of different income types to understand why leverage is the ultimate wealth accelerator. A doctor, while high-earning, is still performing earned labor. If they don't see a patient, they don't get paid. Contrast this with an investor who owns shares in a global conglomerate or a creator who earns royalties from digital assets. These individuals have decoupled their income from their physical presence. They have moved into the realm of exponential growth. By asking yourself, how can I earn even when I'm not working? You begin to filter your opportunities through the lens of longevity and scalability. You stop looking for jobs and start looking for vehicles. This doesn't mean quitting your day job immediately, but it does mean using the proceeds from your earned income to buy back your time through leveraged investments. Ultimately, the goal of moving to leveraged income is to achieve true sovereignty over your life. Financial freedom is not reached when you have a high salary, but when your leveraged income exceeds your living expenses. At that intersection, work becomes an option rather than a necessity. This shift requires a high degree of discipline and a willingness to be misunderstood by those who prioritize immediate gratification over long-term stability. The crowd will often chase the promotion that requires more hours, while the wise individual chases the equity that requires less of their physical presence over time. By prioritizing systems over sweat, you ensure that your financial future is not dependent on your health, your mood, or your boss's whims, but on the enduring power of the assets you have set in motion. Lesson 2. Pay yourself first. The concept of paying yourself first is perhaps the most vital psychological shift in the journey toward financial independence. Most people operate on a residual financial model. They receive their paycheck, pay the landlord, the utility company, the grocer, and the entertainment providers, and then hope there is something left over for their savings. This is a recipe for perpetual scarcity because expenses always rise to meet income, a phenomenon known as lifestyle creep. By the time the world has taken its cut, there is rarely anything left for the individual. Paying yourself first flips this script entirely. It means that the very first transaction you make upon receiving any income is a transfer to your investment or savings account. You treat your future self as your most important non-negotiable creditor. This strategy works because it forces a healthy level of artificial scarcity in your daily life. When you set aside 10% or 20% of your income before you even look at your bills, you are forced to become more creative and disciplined with the remaining 80%. Humans are remarkably adaptable creatures. We tend to find a way to live on what we have available. If you have $3,000 in your checking account, you will find a way to spend $3,000. If you immediately move $500 to a brokerage account, leaving you with $2,500, your brain will subconsciously adjust your lifestyle to fit that new reality. This is the wealth habit in action. It removes the element of willpower from the equation. Relying on willpower to save money at the end of the month is a losing battle because by then the emotional lure of spending has already depleted your reserves. Consistency in this practice is far more important than the initial amount. Even if you can only afford to pay yourself $25 a week, the act of doing so establishes a neurological pathway that prioritizes wealth accumulation over consumption. Over time, as your income grows, you maintain the same percentage, and the dollar amounts become significant. This is how quiet wealth is built, not through a single windfall but through the relentless, disciplined commitment to one's own financial foundation. When you pay yourself first, you are sending a powerful message to your subconscious that your dreams and your security are more important than the latest consumer gadgets or temporary luxuries. You are effectively buying your freedom one installment at a time. Furthermore, paying yourself first creates a peace of mind fund that allows you to take calculated risks later in life. When you have a growing pile of capital that is strictly off limits for consumption, you gain the confidence to pivot careers, start a business, or invest in a high-growth opportunity when it arises. Most people are forced to pass on life-changing opportunities because they are living paycheck to paycheck, tethered to their current situation by a lack of liquidity. By prioritizing yourself, you are building the opportunity fund that will eventually grant you the leverage discussed in Lesson 1. It is the ultimate act of self-respect. You are acknowledging that while you work for your employer today, you are truly working for your own future liberty. Lesson 3. Invest in assets, not liabilities. To master the game of wealth, one must have a clinical understanding of the difference between an asset and a liability. In common accounting, many people consider their home or their car to be assets. However, in the school of financial intelligence, an asset is strictly defined as something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. This distinction is the primary reason why the middle class struggles while the wealthy flourish. The middle class spends their lives collecting liabilities that they mistakenly believe are assets. They buy the bigger house with the bigger mortgage, the faster car with the higher insurance premium, and the designer wardrobe that requires expensive maintenance. These items don't just cost money at the point of sale, they are drainage points that require ongoing cash flow to sustain. True wealth is built by aggressively acquiring income-producing assets. These are vehicles like dividend-paying stocks, rental real estate, automated businesses, or intellectual property. These assets work for you 24/7. When you buy a share of a profitable company, you are essentially hiring the CEO and all the employees of that company to work for you. When you buy a piece of real estate that generates more in rent than it costs in mortgage and maintenance, you have created a self-sustaining source of wealth. The goal is to build a portfolio of these assets until the total income they generate is sufficient to cover your lifestyle. At that point, you are truly free. You are no longer working for money, your money is working for you, producing a harvest that you can live off of without depleting the original seed. It is also crucial to recognize that assets can be intangible. Your skills, your education, and your professional network are often the highest returning assets you can own, especially early in your journey. Investing in a course that teaches you a high-income skill like digital marketing, coding, or public speaking can yield a return on investment ROI far higher than any stock market gain. Unlike a car, which depreciates the moment you drive it off the lot, a skill stays with you forever and can be leveraged across multiple platforms and industries. The wealthy understand that the most valuable real estate is the 6 inches between their ears. They are willing to live modestly in terms of physical possessions so they can divert every spare dollar into assets that appreciate or generate cash flow. The danger of liabilities is not just the loss of money, but the opportunity cost associated with that money. Every dollar spent on a liability is a dollar that can never be invested in an asset. If you spend $500 a month on a luxury car lease, you aren't just losing $6,000 a year. You are losing the hundreds of thousands of dollars that those $500 payments could have grown into over 30 years if they were invested in a compounding asset. This is how liabilities keep people in a state of financial bondage. They become slaves to their possessions, forced to work jobs they may hate just to maintain a lifestyle that doesn't actually move them forward. By choosing assets over liabilities, you are choosing a life of growth over a life of maintenance. Lesson 4. Increase your financial intelligence. Money is a game with specific rules, and like any game, those who understand the rules the best are the ones who win. Financial intelligence is the operating system for your wealth-building journey. Without it, even a high income can be squandered. We have all heard stories of lottery winners or professional athletes who earn millions only to end up bankrupt a few years later. This happens because they had a high earning capacity but zero financial intelligence. They didn't understand taxes, debt, inflation, or the mechanics of investment. To grow your wealth, you must commit to being a lifelong student of money. This means going beyond the basics of save more than you spend and diving into the complexities of how the global economy actually functions. Increasing your financial IQ involves 4 main areas: accounting, investing, understanding markets, and the law. Accounting is the ability to read and understand financial statements. It allows you to identify the strengths and weaknesses of any business or investment. Investing is the science of making money, involving the strategies and formulas for wealth creation. Understanding markets is the supply and demand side, knowing if an investment makes sense based on current economic conditions and human emotion. Finally, the law involves understanding tax advantages and asset protection. The wealthy use corporations and legal structures to minimize their tax burden and protect their assets from litigation strategies that are perfectly legal but rarely taught in traditional schools. The environment you curate plays a massive role in your financial intelligence. If you surround yourself with people who view money as a scarce resource to be hoarded or spent on fleeting pleasures, you will likely adopt that same mindset. However, if you surround yourself with individuals who discuss cash flow, tax strategies, and market trends, your financial thermostat will naturally rise. You must actively seek out mentors, whether in person or through books and podcasts. In the information age, there is no excuse for financial ignorance. The wisdom of the greatest investors in history is available for the price of a library card or a monthly internet subscription. You must treat your financial education with the same seriousness as a professional degree. Moreover, financial intelligence allows you to see opportunities where others see only risk. Risk is often a function of a lack of knowledge. To an untrained eye, the stock market looks like gambling. To a financially intelligent investor, the stock market is a rational system where value can be calculated and risks can be mitigated through diversification and long-term thinking. As your intelligence grows, your fear decreases and your ability to take calculated, profitable actions increases. You stop being a victim of economic cycles and start becoming a beneficiary of them. You learn that in every crisis there is an opportunity for those who have the knowledge to spot it and the capital from Lesson 2 to seize it. Lesson 5. Be patient and let time work for you. In a world of instant gratification, patience is the ultimate competitive advantage. We are bombarded with images of overnight successes and get-rich-quick schemes that promise wealth with zero effort. The reality of wealth building is much more mundane. It is the result of small, intelligent actions repeated consistently over long periods. This is the power of compound growth, what Albert Einstein famously called the eighth wonder of the world. Compounding is backloaded, meaning the most significant gains happen at the very end of the cycle. In the beginning, the growth is so slow it's almost invisible. You might save and invest for 5 years and feel like you've barely made a dent. But if you stay the course, the snowball effect eventually takes over, and your wealth begins to grow at a pace that far exceeds your original contributions. Understanding the hockey stick curve of compounding is essential for staying motivated during the early years. Imagine 2 people. One starts investing $500 a month at age 20 and stops at age 30, never adding another cent. The second person starts at age 30 and invests $500 every month until they are 60. Because of the power of time, the first person who only invested for 10 years will likely end up with more money than the second person who invested for 30 years. This is because the first person gave their money more time to double and redouble. Time is the multiplier. If you rob your investments of time by constantly withdrawing money for emergencies or luxuries, you are essentially resetting the compounding clock to zero. You must have the discipline to leave your seed corn alone so it can grow into a forest. Patience also applies to your emotional temperament during market fluctuations. The financially intelligent person knows that markets move in cycles. There will be years of boom and years of bust. Those who lack patience panic during the bust and sell their assets at a loss, effectively transferring their wealth to those who are patient enough to wait for the recovery. Being patient means having a long-view philosophy. You aren't looking at what your portfolio did today or this week, you are looking at where it will be in 10, 20 or 30 years. This perspective allows you to remain calm when the headlines are screaming about economic collapse. You understand that volatility is the price of admission for long-term growth. Finally, letting time work for you means starting exactly where you are right now. The best time to start was 10 years ago, the second best time is today. Every day you delay is a day of compounding you can never get back. Wealth is not a sprint, it is a marathon of endurance and discipline. By combining the leverage of Lesson 1, the discipline of Lesson 2, the asset focus of Lesson 3, and the intelligence of Lesson 4, you create a powerful engine. But it is Lesson 5 time that provides the fuel to take that engine to its final destination. If you can master your own impatience and commit to the process, you will eventually reach a point where your wealth becomes unstoppable. You will find that the financial security you once dreamed of has become an inevitable reality, built on the solid foundation of time-tested principles. At the end of the day, your financial future isn't determined by how hard you work, it's determined by how smart your money works. You can continue the cycle of earning and spending, or you can step into a new mindset, one where every dollar you earn becomes a worker for you. The truth is, building wealth doesn't require luck. It requires discipline, awareness, and the courage to think differently. When you start paying yourself first, investing in assets and increasing your financial knowledge, you begin to take control. Slowly but surely, your money starts to grow, and eventually it starts to work harder than you ever could. Remember, the goal isn't just to make a living, it's to design a life where your time is yours, your choices are free, and your money supports your dreams instead of limiting them. So take action today, start small, stay consistent, and think long-term. Because the sooner you make this shift, the sooner your money will stop being your master and start becoming your servant.